is got a book from National Geographic. My guest today is Bart Yasso, the mayor of running, author of 100 Runs of a Lifetime, the world's ultimate races and trails. How are you doing, Bart? You know what? What
I'm
got you
doing well,
started
Nick.
the whole running thing?
Yeah. So I started in the mid 70s, just wanted to go out and run. Looked bad. I had to like cut off jeans and a t-shirt and just went out for a run one day. And little did I know how much I would enjoy it and keep at it and eventually have a 31-year career at Runner's World magazine and get inducted in the Hall of Fame of running and all the stuff that happens just didn't seem possible. I was just out there trying to, run 1 mile the first time I was out there to see if I could run two, and then eventually run 100 miles a week in my prime. It's a crazy journey, but I love it.
It's such a crazy journey because you think about it, you're running, and you can and you just do it, right? And it's the
Yeah.
challenge has to be what keeps you wanting to do more, right? How do you feel when you run?
Yeah, I still love it. I run a lot slower than I used to run in my younger days, but I'm still out there. I still have the same passion and the same joy about it. Then there's different ways to stay involved in the sport. I don't do as many races as I used to do. I do a lot of ceremonious things when I'm at a race, speak at dinners and do finish line race announcing, greet people at the finish line, find some of the great stories in these races. And so I'm still involved. And then, one day I got a call from National Geographic. Would you author this book, 100 Runs of a Lifetime? And I was like, what a dream call to get.
Yeah, exactly. Working with Nat Geo in so many ways, so fantastic. What should we expect from the book? It's beautiful, by the way. I received a copy. Amazing. But what should we expect?
Yeah, so what had it, Neil, it's separated by what they call parts, 4 parts. So the first part is races that are less than the marathon distance. The marathon distance is 26.2 miles. It's shorter distance races. Then the second part is marathons, like the Pittsburgh Marathon, which is this weekend, and also has shorter distance races involved in it. Then the third part is what we call ultras or trails, races that are run on trails. And the ultra distance is anything above the marathon, longer than the marathon distance. Most of the trails are 50K, 50 mile. The ultras start off with a 50K and then people get into 50 milers and 100 milers. And then the final part of the book, part four, is actually just runs, not races. So you can go out and do it any day you want to. You can start whenever you want to, finish whenever you want to. You can do half the trail or the entire distance. They're just cool locations to run on these trails and beautiful places.
Yeah, definitely. When you think about it, they're so. How did you come up with the idea? Which ones of these 100 runs? How did you rank?
Yeah. Neil, it was so hard. It was unbelievable. I went through, when you've been running for 48 years and I had all these memories and all these, I had to organize where I ran, 54 countries or something like that, and all the places I've been. And I kind of sorted it all out and I narrowed it down to 200, which doesn't do you any good when the book is called 100 Runs of a Lifetime. So, I got 200 down to 150, 150 down to 125, 125 down to 110. Then it was really hard to get from 110 to 100 to take out races that I really just had such great memories of and I think people would like, but I had to get it down to 100. And
So
I
were they
was able
all
to pull that off.
races? Every one of your runs on in the book are
No,
races?
no, there's 31. The part four is 31 that are not a race. So I'll give you an example. Well, I started off with there's a 22-mile trail, 11 miles out, 11 miles back along the Na Pali Coast in Kauai, the Hawaiian island of Kauai. It's just an incredible trail that you can run. Now you can run part of it and turn around and run back. You don't have to run the whole 11 miles out, 11 miles back. It's pretty rough and can be muddy and it's a tough run. But things like that, and I talk about this run I did. I was in Darjeeling, India, and I ran through these tea fields. The tea field farmer said, "Yes, you can run right through the fields. There's open space in between all the tea and just incredible run." And then I found out about this trail, which was close by, and I went to a town called Menapajang and ran to a town called Sandafu. And Sandafu's up in the mountains, up in the Himalaya. And it was when you got up there, there was a little overlook, and you could see four of the five highest peaks in the world. And they claim it's the only location in the world that you can see four of the five highest peaks. So I thought that's a cool way to end a run. And then the next day I ran back down. But things like that, and that's again, that's one you can do whenever you want. If you want to go to Darjeeling or go to India, it's up to you. But this sets a framework. I want runners to think big and to think create their own 100 runs of a lifetime.
Yeah, because you got, and I think, what about people that aren't runners? Could they walk a lot of these?
Yeah, there's a lot of these trails you could walk, absolutely. And just, the longer ones, you just do part of it because, you have to get back before most of them, you have to get off the trail before sunset. So you can just run part of it and you don't have to be a runner. You can definitely hike, walk. You should be someone that's actually training because some of them are pretty, tough to do, but you can definitely walk them if you want to.
Did you have a lot of the pictures from did you documented a lot of your,
Yeah.
is that another reason why National Geographic reached out to you, is you document all your
I,
experiences?
I did document a lot of my experiences, and there's only one photo in the book that I'm in, and it's actually a photo that I didn't take. It was taken by the Big Sur Marathon race, and they sent it to me. But all the photos are National Geo.
Yeah. Oh,
When I
wow.
created the book map on where I was going and what run and what race we were doing or what trail, they went out and got the photos, and the quality of the photos are just mind-boggling. As you would know, National Geographic has a,
Oh,
I don't know how
absolutely.
big their database of the greatest photographers in the world. They're connected with them.
Do you think that the
Yeah.
people are going to want a second book out of this Nat Geo where you
Well,
can
I
add
hope
more
so.
runs?
That would be the greatest thing for me because I had more runs. It just when a book is called 100 Runs of a Lifetime, you got to do 100. I actually did sneak in one that I did. So what I called my ultimate run of a lifetime, I have it in the intro. So it's not in all the parts that number all the runs, but I snuck it in the intro, a run in Tanzania in the Norongoro Crater, which is a crater
Oh, wow.
18 and a half miles around, 2,000 feet deep. And I convinced you're not supposed to get out of the vehicles. You go down there and safari all day and take photos of all the animals. But I asked the guy if I could run up the crater wall, and he was kind of dubious about my idea, but he let me do it. And got up to the rim of the crater right at sunset, one of those classic African sunsets over the Serengeti. It was my run of a lifetime. I didn't know it at the time. I just called it my forever famous favorite run. Now I
It's
call it my
interesting, Bart.
lifetime run,
This
and I snuck that into the intro. Oh,
What's really wild about this, the themes of my weeks of interviews, where I do all these as podcasts and then make them go to my nationally syndicated radio show where I have certain fame, but also I'm one of the top celebrity podcasts in the world according to FeedSpot. We're ranked 14 now. We want to get back up. We're really having some really kick butt. But you and another guest this week did things that you kind of train your body beyond belief, like the level. This guy was known from the Dalai Lama and stuff like that. I can't pronounce his name, but you both are very well known in your spaces. And then I had somebody else that was just biking places that was doing this. So many people are doing this for solitude. So can you explain how much of your running experience doing all these races and stuff is for solitude purposes and training and developing?
a lot for solitude. That's why I tend to always run on trails. I love to hear the birds and see the animals, and much more than I like to see vehicular traffic. So I tend to run on single track trails. We got a ton of them in Pennsylvania. They're very accessible where I live in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And it's solitude is what it's all about. I mean, you really get out and sort your day out, and I don't call them sort out your troubles because I really don't have troubles. I don't look at them as troubles. It just sort out what you want to accomplish more
Yeah,
in that
you have a
day.
passion. Everyone needs to have a passion, especially when there's so much unknown. It could be bad unknown. It could be good unknown. We don't know right now in the world we live in today. So we have to have something that makes us every day want to get up and do something. And I know running's that for you. So people can go pick up your
Yeah.
book, all finer bookstores for sure, independent
Oh yeah.
bookstores. And is there a place where we can find info on you, Bart? I just looked you up
Yeah,
on
I do have
Wiki. Hmm.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
do have bartyasso.com, and on there's a link to send you to places where you buy the book. And I do post on my social media if I'm doing a book signing somewhere.
We appreciate it, Bart. Great stuff, man.
Thank you, Neil.
Are you listening and watching the Neil Haley Show? And we'll be back in just a moment.